This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Here we go, game 2 of the semi-final series between the JackJumpers and the Breakers. The Breakers took first blood, but I think the JackJumpers are going to be able to fight back, but not enough where I'll be able to put my hard-earned on it. I think this is a very tough one to split. I do think that it's going to be between 1 to 10. So have a look at this big win, little win market. Very, very tough to go outside of the 1 to 10 range. The total points, never thought a low total like that I would be going under, but I am here. I think defence is going to be the main winner in this game. My favourite bet, will McDowell White triple-double? It might not seem likely. He's averaging 10, 6 and 5, but that is way over the odds. Enjoy the game, and most importantly, gamble responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control, gamble responsibly.
The first battle went to Modi Mayor's Breakers.
The Breakers, a tough, hard-fought win.
And Captain Courageous.
McDowell White knocks down a big 3.
From last year's turmoil.
10 straight losses. Really difficult season.
To this year's rise.
Harden, oh, he got him in the spin cycle.
New Zealand Breakers are having a semi-final home court advantage.
To now, one win away from a shot at glory. The only thing standing in these Breakers' way is the JackJumpers.
This team will never say die. Doyle and Kelly in the pick and roll game.
These JackJumpers know this territory well.
In their debut season, are off to the grand final.
But this is a whole new series.
It's a place that I don't like.
Frustrations have been building all night long.
He'll think about his team.
Defend the island, defend the island.
And I'll think about mine.
And this series is far from over.
The NBL postseason rolls on to a raucous My State Bank Arena in Hobart as the Tasmania JackJumpers try to stave off elimination against a red-hot New Zealand Breakers. For the JackJumpers, it's backs to the wall. Do or die, now or never. But they know what this situation is about, having taken it on last year. The Breakers flexed their muscles on Sunday, and a win tonight would see them book a finals appearance for the first time since 2016. Great to have you with us for Game 2 of Playoff Series 1. Joel Peterson with you in commentary alongside NBL23 MVP finalist Mitch Creek and NBL Championship winner Pete Hawley. Pete, the JJs, they know this situation well.
Oh, they do. This is exactly the type of situation where they thrive in. Their backs against the wall. You said they did it last season. They did, but the Breakers, they don't play too well down here. Look at that, 1-10 overall. We know they were here a lot in the COVID-implicated season, so this sets up for a juicy Game 2, and I'm interested to see, can New Zealand get one more win and be the first ones across to the Championship Series, or does Tassie want to push it to a Game 3? We'll find out soon enough.
So there's the state of play, Creaky. Of course, a win for New Zealand tonight. They're through to the finals, and of course, Sydney winners last night. The big thing for Tassie is still no Josh Majette, so he's still out injured, their point guard. They're hoping they might get him back if they do go all the way, but he does leave such a hole in their offense.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. Josh Majette's been an absolute monster getting into the paint and facilitating for his team all season long. But tonight, you look at someone like a Sean McDonald and Isaac White to step up. Matt Kenyon was fantastic in Game 1. Just seeing the ball and seeing it move around the court is what we need tonight.
So one of their lowest scores in that Game 1 of 68 points. They've struggled against the Breakers this season, have the JackJumpers, Pete?
Yeah, they have. Look, against that Breakers physicality, Tasmania just haven't got the ball in the basket, and they're going to have to find a way to do it. I would like to see a lot more offensive firepower on the floor to start with. They went behind the 8 ball early over in New Zealand in Game 1, and they were forever chasing their tails. They cannot afford to let this game get out of hand early.
And they need a big game from this man, Mitch Creek. Milton Doyle, all NBL first team, but his numbers against New Zealand have been a little bit lower than he'd like.
Yeah, obviously the first game, just 10 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, moving the ball well, but this is the man that people have dubbed the Kevin Durant of the NBL, so we need to see that tonight. He needs to step up, take over in that fourth quarter, and urge this Tasmanian team to a win.
The New Zealand side of things, this man's done a fantastic job. Coach of the Year finalist, they're full of confidence, and Pete, they've been in the mix all season.
Well, he's the coach. He is the coach of the year any other season, really. It's just been so tremendous. Have a look at this. Last season, we know they were anchored down the bottom of the table. Even the year before had their struggles, all during those COVID seasons. But this year, the culture is back. The identity for New Zealand basketball is back, and they are officially one game away from booking themselves to a championship series and potentially holding up a trophy.
And such an even spread of scorers too, Mitch Creek. They've got so many weapons, but they do spread it around.
Yeah, they definitely do. I think Barry Brown's one of the leaders there. Brantley is just an absolute beast inside and out. And when he's shooting that three ball the way he does, it makes life easy for everyone else. But as we've seen, Will McDowell-White's the centerpiece there, setting the table for everybody.
Well, the Tassie crowd is always going to make it tough. Let's check in courtside with Nerily Meadows. It's fever pitch again tonight, Nez.
Incredible atmosphere already. It is a sellout here in Hobart, and rectifying that slow start in New Zealand where the JackJumpers were down 12-2, the crowd will certainly be key, and that is according to Jack McVeigh, who says it's also all about crushing the boards and getting as physical as possible. I also spoke to Breakers' Barry Brown Jr., who, fun fact, was listening to Drake in the pre-game to pump himself up. He's still got that sore wrist strap. He played 14 minutes in game one for a return of 11 points. He told me he can play as many minutes as the coach needs.
Well, they'll need him tonight, Nez. Let's take a look at our champion starting fives. Creaky, the Jackies.
Yeah, obviously Matt Kenyon starting there in the point guard role. Jack McVeigh needs a big one tonight. The home crowd's there. He's going to have a cracker. Sean McDonald and the rest of the boys filling that squad.
And the champion starting five for the Breakers, it's been pretty set since they've been healthy, but because of this starting five with the backcourt, I would have liked to see Isaac White even thrown in to the starting lineup. Try and get that offense generated early for the JackJumpers. We'll see how they go.
Well, the stakes are high, the pressure's on. The reward for both teams is clear. This is playoff basketball at its very best. And in this do-or-die clash, the Jackies will start with the rock, having lost on Sunday by 20 over in New Zealand. Sean McDonald getting his first start of the year. They go straight inside to Magnay. Parton pulls it down off the glass.
Beats that rebound to get things started, but trying to seal Will Magnay down low. We know Derek Parton, Defensive Player of the Year finalist. He's going to play straight up and really solid.
Physicality is evident early. Brantley backs his way inside. Now Abercrombie rises up. He can't hit. And there is some significant energy in this building. It is electric in Tassie. Doyle to start things off.
Yeah, there's your man right there, Pete. Just knowing when to come off, sets his feet. Great screen by the big there. And first one for him goes down. That's going to feel amazing.
A really good start from Milton Doyle. Has had his struggles. Can't go underneath. You can't let him feel good about himself. He has had that struggle against New Zealand. What I do love is look at Matt Kenyon right now. He is trying to keep the ball out of Will McDowell-White's hands. And I mentioned perhaps Isaac White starting. Matt Kenyon's going to be the one that goes to Barry Brown Jr. when he comes into the game. There's no real offensive scoring threat consistently on the wing right now. Will McDowell-White's going to get facilitating, repair, and Tom Abercrombie at high-level defenders. Well, that's why I would potentially like to see some offense inserted a bit earlier.
They keep it alive here, the Breakers. Parton goes toward the glass, had the shot disrupted. Magnay comes up with the rebounds. JackJumpers back the other way. Plenty of energy. They demanded physicality in the response. They've shown it early doors. McVeigh can't get it to go. Kenyon keeps it alive. Another look for Doyle from way downtown. And again they fight for the loose ball and then turn it over. It's exactly what Scott Roth would have wanted to see early.
You love the energy from Tasmania here. A couple of offensive rebounds. Really good boxing out and physicality on the defensive end. But they just got to look after this ball. Not too many turnovers, hold possession.
Just feeling each other out at the moment, aren't they, both teams?
Well, they are, and there's no surprise with this change to the starting lineup. Rashard Kelly's gone to the bench, so Jack McVeigh's out there in the power forward. They're trying to get it out to Jarrell Brantley. He's going to have the physicality, the size mismatch on whoever is in that power forward position right now. He did struggle early, Brantley, so they're trying to, in game one, they're trying to go to him here in game two.
You look at Will Magnay here and Derek Parton just chesting each other before the ball's inbounds. The physicality's high. These boys are going to be banging all night long.
Parton is not the one I'd be going at. He's a beast down low. McDowell-White tries to sling it inside to him. McDonald comes away with the loose ball. McVeigh into a triple. They continue to trade blows. Both swinging at one another early. These two prize fighters. Harden gets inside. That'll silence the crowd.
They sent the double team just a little too late. 4 possessions in a row. They're trying to feed anybody in the post and let them go to work. Doyle tried to show that double team. He was just too late, and in the end, allowed Harden to step through for an easy one.
Here's Kenyon in the corner. That one's well short.
And that's what Matt Kenyon really has to be confident with. He has to either slash and get on that ring, penetrating and making plays, finishing, or he's got to keep shooting that ball with confidence. Obviously, New Zealand are going to try and let him have that three-point shot, as it's not his strength, but he's got to be confident and take it.
Great to have the insights of Mitch Creek alongside Pete Hawley. In our coverage this evening, Brantley from way downtown.
Just got something out of nothing, because again, they're trying to force feed that ball down low, getting nothing of it. Jarrell Brantley knocks one down.
It's such a force for them this season. Kenyon to the turnaround, one way, the other. Good defense from McDowell White.
John Parton has 4 rebounds already in 4 minutes. Just controlling that end of the floor, as he so often does.
Brantley again.
It's a great box out there by Sean McDonald, just keeping Parton off the boards.
Trying to establish Magna inside. Turns to his right hand, around and out. Brantley with the hit-ahead pass. Rupert goes through. He gets hacked on the way.
He's crafty in transition. That extra gather step and just glides around the defense. Look at the Amy replay. That's Jarrell Brantley. Had nothing to do but shoot the ball with the shot clock winding down. Oh, look at it here. Will Magnay just caught sleeping ever so slightly. He was worried about whether Derek Parton was going to roll. In the end, you've got to be a little bit more aware of the shot clock, knowing that if you take that extra step towards the split line, the middle of the key, you allow that bailout pass from Will McDowell White.
And especially at the end of the shot clock there, Pete, you understand, yes, the roll is there, but is there enough time to catch the roll, finish on the rim? Or you get a Brantley who's been hot in the past couple of weeks. Obviously, last game, a little bit quieter, but you don't want to see that man get hot early.
Well, again, we talk about the offensive struggles for Tasmania. Just 3 points in the first 4.5 minutes. And that's why I've said it a couple of times already. If you start, I think it's Matt Kenyon, so he's gone to the bench now to insert Jared Weeks. He's their defensive stop on the wing. I think you can afford to bring him off the bench in a game like this. When Barry Brown Jr. or Liafa come in, like they've come in now to try and be an offensive threat off the bench, that's when a Matt Kenyon or Sam McDaniel comes in to try and glove that to slow it down. I understand you also want to kind of limit Will McDowell White, but I think you really need to make sure that you tick this scoreboard over, because they didn't in game 1, and they're forever chasing their tail.
Had long periods where the offense looked really stagnant in the Jack Jumpers on Sunday, especially down the stretch. They just looked like they couldn't get through sets.
And make no mistake, this just highlights how different this team is without Josh Magette on the floor. It's very similar to what we saw with Melbourne United without Shea Ili. They're both not massive offensive scorers, but them on the floor, they set things up, they get everybody in the right spots on the offensive end to run through plays, and it's a calming leadership presence in that point guard spot.
Red numbers on the shot clock as Krislovich rolls inside and throws it down.
Well, we saw that in last night's game. There was a couple of flopping calls going on. I don't know if that one was a flop, and you got big Krislovich running straight through the middle of your chest. But he just says thank you for the two-piece.
Well, he's either gone knee to knee with Tom Abercrombie, or Tom Abercrombie just a little hyperextension. He looked ginger after that.
Been in the wars, Tom Abercrombie.
He has, and he's just limped off to the bench. So hopefully that's nothing too serious, just a bit of knee-on-knee contact for Tom Abercrombie.
Whacked in the face pre-game by the ball while rebounding during the warm-up. Now he's off the floor. Lowe's out there for the Breakers, so to Liafa. Brown, Brantley and McDowell White, the 5 for New Zealand. Brantley cross-court. Lowe just heaves it up.
Just a fantastic defensive set. You see how far Sean McDonald is the point guard guarding Jarrell Brantley, where he forces that catch. He forces the catch on the three-point line. They still send a double team. Quick scramble. Rob Lowe has to basically catch and shoot with 0.5 seconds on the shot clock.
And the defensive rotations there for Tasmania were so on point. They understand that the middle on-ball, as we're going to see it here with the Amy replay. You just watch the nice little show on this on-ball, and you watch the weak side. Weeks here is going to come in, tag that roller, and then they're just going to bump those guys back out. The rotations are on point, just keeping it nice and simple, but making a really effective defensive possession.
Inside from Mitch Creek and Pete Hawley tonight. Noel Peterson with you in commentary. Nerily Meadows courtside. Low scoring, grinded out a fair early. Harry Brown passes up the 3-ball. Gets inside, can't get it to go. A quiet game on Sunday, only attempting 4 shots, and then fouls Weeks there in transition.
Well, a game like this, you talk about grinding it out. Nice slow game. This suits Tasmania to a T. Yes, the Breakers can definitely play this way. They can be very physical. They can slow it and grind it out. But this suits Tasmania because they do have the opportunity to really lock in on the defensive end. This crowd's going to get behind them, and they're going to continue to do this for nearly 40 minutes.
9th and 10th in the competition in pace, these two teams. Jackie's 9th, New Zealand 10th. Not getting up and out in transition as much as some. Doyle swoops his way inside. Beautiful move. That's the Milton Doyle we've come to know and love this season. And the JackJumpers back ahead in this ball game. What's Brown got by way of an answer? Not a friendly roll from the Tasmanian rim. Doyle at the other end. His comes off the apparatus.
And I know Milton Doyle's starting to feel good compared to other games against the Breakers, but you don't need that shot. You just had a good one. You got to the hoop, put some scoreboard pressure on. We're right now 7-6 after 6.5 minutes. New Zealand Breakers 2 of 10 from the field, just 20%, and the JackJumpers not much better, 3 of 13, 23%. Going to grind early.
Absolutely, it has. It was a grind on Sunday as well. It was New Zealand in that one. And then, of course, a little bit of drama for both teams getting out of New Zealand on Sunday and early Monday. Narrowly caught up with Barry Brown and Jack McVeigh to detail some of that.
Can you step us through getting out of New Zealand with the Cyclone incoming?
I mean, yeah, it was tough. I mean, we had just finished game 1 of the playoffs, and, you know, it was an unfortunate circumstance, just getting out of there at 3 a.m., getting to the airport, and then being able to make it here.
Yeah, it was a little bit intense. Obviously, we were nervous about this game going ahead and getting out, but we left the hotel about 3 a.m. and it all went smoothly, and hopefully everyone back there is doing well, but we're glad to get back to Tassie.
Do you have a message for New Zealanders who have been affected?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry for everyone that's going through something back home in New Zealand, and I'm just praying that everyone stays safe, and the best is yet to come, so keep your head up. We're all praying for you here. We're going to give it our all today.
Echo the thoughts of Barry Brown there, and kia ora to everyone listening over on the land of the long white cloud, especially in the North Island, so devastated by Cyclone Gabrielle in recent days. Mitch, you had the experience of that early flight out of New Zealand earlier in the season.
Yeah, that's a heck of a flight, that one. Now, obviously the circumstances are a little different. There's obviously some immense tragedy going on in New Zealand, so just a massive, you know, hopeful that things pass. But right now, yeah, it's a tough one to come home. Not a lot of sleep. You finish that game about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. You get back to the hotel. You're trying to wind down. You got a bit of food. You have a shower. You kind of pack your bag for the next day.
One eye on the clock.
You look at the clock, and it's almost midnight. So you know you've only got a couple hours sleep, and we had to play literally 36 hours later. So it was definitely a lot of travel, but it's one of those things that you've got to go through it sometimes as a team, and it does make you stronger. And we actually came off a loss by about 30 in New Zealand and turned it around and had about a 15-20 point win at home. So sometimes people say, you know, for the best, it tests you, but we're definitely not saying we should go to bed every night at 3:30 a.m. and play the next day.
Not the ideal build-up. Hopefully tonight, providing those doing it tough at the moment over in NZ.
That's about
a bit of relief.
That's about Jack McVeigh in that, talk about how intense and crazy it was with the biggest smile on his face. I'm not sure anything really gets to that man down. He's always a figure of positivity.
Brings plenty of energy to the table. We know that. Jack McVeigh having a terrific season. So 3:08 left in this opening term. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Pete Hawley with you. Game 2 of this playoff series 1. Of course, New Zealand winners on Sunday. And game 3 will be on Sunday in Auckland if required, if the JackJumpers can get across the line tonight. Doyle's doing everything he can.
Again, that's just really good defense. He got to his spot and probably unlucky to miss that shot. And That's going to be a jump ball there, but you see Derek Parton get a quick bite on the ball with the ball screen and then recovered to help out on the roll from Krislovic. That's why he was Defensive Player of the Year finalist. Have a look at here, that quick little bite, and look at his quick recovery, and then Isaiah for Barry Brown Jr. come and have a swipe at it. And Doyle probably still should have made it, but that's how hard the breakers can make you have to fight for buckets as well.
I'd imagine Derek Parton's the type of player, Mitch, that when he's out on the court, you know he's out there. Big physical frame.
He's definitely a big unit out there. Obviously, he's just such a tenacious person. He plays the game so hard at both ends of the court, and that's where he gets a lot of his respect from a lot of the other bigs in the league. He's so strong, he's so powerful, and he plays hard and the right way, and that's what you absolutely love about him.
Shark Kelly and McDonald having a few words to say. We know these two teams have had a bit of history so far this season. This was a call for a push in the back from Shark Kelly, who said that it might have been a bit of mayonnaise on it. Now, I think he might be right, ever so slightly, but Marie was right there.
Both teams 1 of 6 from downtown to start. Breakers shooting 25% from the field, 3 of 12. The Jackies 3 of 15 early doors. Brown on the take, floats it home.
And Brown's had a few of those looks so far tonight, and they haven't rolled in just yet, but that one goes in. It's a great sign from him, aggressive early, similar shots. If he starts to get a rhythm, this New Zealand team can really get some momentum in this first quarter.
Steindl pulls up in rhythm. Great to see Clint Steindl back out there in his return from injury.
He can bring a spark off the bench offensively when you are struggling to score the ball. But again, it's normally Josh Majette setting things up in the right plays, calling it for Clint Steindl. And then down the other end, that we do not see very often, a defensive breakdown, just running away from the ball. I don't think he gets an easy layup.
White on offense now at the free throw line for the Jackies. Leaves it short. Tipped home. Krislovic. Great work on the offensive glass.
Having impact. Maybe Krislovic. Magnay looked a bit gassed when we saw him after his first 4 minutes of action. Krislovic's come in and provided a nice little spark.
Brown now takes it in at Weeks. Off the glass, can't get it to go. Traded the lead 3 times already in this opening term, these two teams. Neither's led by any more than 3 in the early stages. 1 minute remaining as Weeks scoots inside and hands Tassie back the advantage. It's been physical, it's been high intensity.
Interesting half-court defensive sets. We've seen that a couple of times. As soon as Will McDowell-White walks that ball over half-court, they're setting a double team. They want the ball out of his hands. He's a terrific decision-maker. He sets everything up for New Zealand. They do not want to allow him to do that. They want anyone else to set the offense up except Will McDowell-White.
Really trying to push the Breakers out of their rhythm. White now guarded by McDowell-White. Hangs and hits. And the JackJumpers have an equal game-high 3-point lead. And they'll take possession again. White once more. Breakers the other way. Liafa takes it strong.
And that's a tough one right there, Pete. I know what you're going to say right now, and you're shaking your head next to me, but Clint Steindl gets that interception, looks at Isaac White. 11 seconds to go for the quarter. You want to get your team that last shot. You want to get your team. I like the look. I love the confidence. But just hang on to it. Get that last shot, because now you ignite the offense going the other way. Now, look, if you make that, Pete, coach is just shaking your hand and tapping you on the back.
You are, but even still, you're trying to go into quarter time with the momentum. You heard the crowd. The crowd's going up and about. So if he does make that, with still 9-10 seconds left on the game clock in the first quarter, the crowd's going to go ballistic. But then New Zealand come down and they either go to the free throw line or score themselves. That momentum's not the same. You've just got to hold that and take that last shot.
2 at the line for Liafa. So 3 seconds remaining. What can Kenyon do with it? The prayer is answered!
I'm not even sure he thought it was going in. He ran after it.
The runner from 3-point range from Matt Kenyon. And the Tasmania JackJumpers go to quarter time with a 4-point lead, and with this from Kenyon.
What an absolute wonderful play right there from Matt Kenyon. Heads up with the clock.
Facing elimination at home, the JackJumpers have come out with some real bite here in the opening term, and they lead the Breakers by 4. Fabian Kruzlovic with 4 early points, and Matt Kenyon with the exclamation mark on the quarter-time buzzer. The Jackies 18 to the New Zealand Breakers 14. Mitch Creek and Pete Hooley with their analysis of the opening frame. It was physical, Pete. It was really high intensity.
Oh, that's what we expect. Anytime you reach the postseason, the physicality goes up. And Tasmania, they did not even go to the free throw line in the first quarter. Milton Doyle starts the second quarter off in the right way. He's starting to feel good, 7 points. So Tassie, there's 6 fouls called combined in that first quarter, and with the level of physicality, this is what we want to see in the postseason. The whistle goes away.
Yeah, I'd love to see this during the regular season too, Pete. I tell you what, there are times where you want fouls to be called, but it's finals basketball. The level goes up, as you said, and guys are just playing hard right now, and it's great to see.
It's a fair call, actually. There was a certain dunk you had last year, which is an offensive push-off. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, someone fouled me. I think Peatling fouled me.
So 4-point lead the way of Tassie up. They got it out to 6. Let's go courtside to Nerily Meadows.
Just listening into the New Zealand Breakers at quarter time with Coach Modi Mayor. He did a bit of an interesting tactic. He went straight over to the bench and the players were sitting down who had just been playing as is usual. He said, stand up. I want you to stand up. I want more effort from all of you. Harden and Liafa, though, I think basically said, no, we need the rest. And so they stayed sitting while everyone else stood up. And then he just needed to check in on Liafa to make sure he was okay. He is. He's out there. But just an interesting tactic from Maor, who we know can get very animated at times.
He can, absolutely. We've seen that throughout the course of the season. He does seem like he's pretty switched on in terms of his man management, though, Pete. I mean, you have to be to get your team into this position, but he's a caring coach. The players describe him that way, and he seems like he's got a really good sense of what makes them tick and what levers he needs to pull to get them approaching it the right way.
You're spot on. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of him in terms of those standing timeouts where he does like to absolutely blast the team, and a lot of the time you see is Milton Doyle tees one up. He picks and chooses a certain player in a timeout to pull aside before they have the huddle and basically translate the message to them, so that way the rest of the players can get it from a player's perspective.
Kelly with the takeaway, and then he loses the handle. Is that off a breaker hand or a jack jumper hand? The reaction from Scott Roth says it might have been off
That's just a careless turnover from Jarrell Brantley. There's no need for him to get rid of the ball when you're not getting pressure. Yes, Matt Kenyon's in front of you, but he was retreating.
Just the 5 combined turnovers. Both sides like to look after the ball, especially coming out of Sunday. Creaky, it was a theme for Tassie that they wanted to get a better care of the rock as Brantley brings up a wild shot at the rim. They've done a good job of it so far.
Yeah, look, I think both teams have done a good job of looking after the ball tonight somewhat. Now, a low-scoring affair so far, but right now, even just there in the backcourt, you can see Tasmania pressuring up the floor. But New Zealand are doing a great job just getting that pressure release with Brantley. I think he needs to be more aggressive. It's a 4-on-3 situation going down on the offensive end as Isaiah Liafa gets a beautiful left-hand finish down the lane. But I want to see Brantley get his playmaking hat on a little bit and go and create some offense in that mismatch in the open court.
Liafa and Kenyon trading buckets. 4-point lead to the Jackies, who got it out to 6 with the opening bucket of this second term. That's as big as it's been. Doyle almost with the takeaway. Liafa passes it up. Abercrombie. That won't go. Pardon and Magnay fight for it. And Tassie wearing their heritage round strip. Eye-catching colours. Kelly into the corner for McDonald. Harry Brown's in there to pull down the rebounds. Brown with 4 points so far on 2 of 5 shooting. Wants to try his luck here. Uncontested offensive board for Brantley.
And the offense for New Zealand just looking a little stagnant right now. Ball's not really moving. I'd love to see Will McDowell-White, just as I say, a little bit stagnant. Barry Brown makes his own offense, but I'd love to see Will McDowell-White check into the game and just watch that ball fly side to side, hitting those short rollers and making plays.
Does bring the big level of activity to the court for the Breakers. So the bucket cuts the margin back to 2, 22-20. Just under 3 minutes played in this second term. Let's check in courtside with Nerily.
I've got Josh Majette with me, injured star of the Jack-Jumpers. Now, you've been in the wars. Tell me, emotionally, physically, just talk us through it.
Yeah, it's an exciting atmosphere, obviously. These are the games you dream about playing in. Intensity's been there. Maybe we can settle down, make a few shots. That'd help us out.
You physically, though, can you tell us about what happened to you and what you've been through?
Yeah, cupped an elbow trying to contest a layup on a fast break and fractured a few bones in my face, but had a successful surgery last Thursday, so on the road to recovery now.
If the Jack-Jumpers win tonight, keep it going, go into the grand final series, are you any chance?
Yeah, optimistic for it. We'll see how the next few weeks go, but we got to get there first.
And I'm going to say, when you came out here tonight, the entire crowd were electric. They love you here.
They're the best in the league. It's not close.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Josh Majette with Nerily Meadows. Great to see that he's optimistic about a potential return if they can go deep.
3 metal rods or plates in his face after copping that nasty elbow. And the way he talks about that first 24 hours after getting that hit, went through a lot of pain. So it's just good to see him out here and got the all clear to start running around and doing a bit on the court. Nothing competitive just yet. And if he does have somehow a miraculous chance of playing if they make a championship series, don't be surprised if we see a Josh Majette mask in action.
Mask player is always dangerous. Kenyon leaves another one short from that right corner. Breakers with a chance to tie things up or go ahead. Liafa finds some pressure. Brown looks off Brantley. Step back. Whack.
Well, Barry Brown Jr. is starting to get into a groove, and he just signaled that his left hand's all right.
It looks like it's all right now, Pete. Making some great plays, shooting the ball well now.
Well, we have seen the whole array of Matt Kenyon shooting the 3 ball. Hit the buzzer beater 3, there's been an air ball, there's been a side of the backboard in the front of the rim.
1 of 4 on the evening. The one was certainly entertaining. Back to Barry Brown. Go the Breakers. Pardon to Liafa. In rhythm. Can't connect, but Brantley keeps it alive. Both teams really active on the offensive glass. Brown to the left hand. Good defense from Doyle in the end.
And And right now for Tasmania, I think Jack McVeigh's been a little bit quiet. We want to see him make a few plays. Come on, mate.
Right
there
on
we
cue.
go.
Mitch Creek dials it up, and Jack McVeigh delivers.
That earpiece in his ear, he's hearing me right now. Jack McVeigh, you're a star. The energy they need right there is with that man. The offense starts to click. He starts to get that little shot fake if he makes 1 or 2 shots. He gets in the lane, shoots that little fade away, but he draws so much attention. And right now they need some offense.
It's just the 3rd assist in the game. That's how hard points are to come by. Anytime it's something we do manage to tick the scoreboard over, it's someone trying to break something down themselves and basically score 1-on-1. 2 assists from Tasmania to 1 from the Breakers. It's going to be another one right there. Good pass from Repair. Had every right to shoot that ball. Joel Brantley, good heads up to keep his eye on the young next star. This is a big minute here for Ryan Repair with the way that the Jack Jumpers are trying to get the ball out of Will McDowell White's hands. They don't want to see him set up the offense. It's going to be that extra pass is going to be to Repair to potentially have to kind of set things up in the half court and maybe even try to look to be a little bit more aggressive than he usually would be.
And with Wicks and McDonald out there guarding some of those wing spots with Repair, they are going to have those mismatches. Repair's going to have that little floater as we just saw him turn down. They find that little switch action, and you got Big Brantley down there against some of the smaller wings. It's always going to be a mismatch and a really easy possession for them getting something inside.
Fay looked inside, taken away by that Breakers defence. McDowell White, Repair, almost falling out of bounds.
That last possession there from Ryan Repair is exactly why NBA scouts love him so much. He picked up Sean McDonald full court. He turned him twice, so much that Will Magnay had to run up and set a terrace screen to try and free up Sean McDonald, which caused the switch. And then Repair quickly jumped back onto Sean McDonald when he could. We're having a look here. Look, he's going to turn Sean McDonald once, twice. There comes the terrace screen. And then in the end, they blew it up and got a turnover. That is why NBA scouts love this young kid.
Brantley with a big defensive play. Denying McDonald, who then tosses it away. Abercrombie for the Breakers. Hasn't scored as yet this evening. Magnay pulls down the board. He's 2 scoreless so far. Weeks with the jump step.
7th rebound right now for Derek Parton. Those quick offensive possessions, and you heard Scott Roth screaming, move the ball. That's not what Tasmania can afford to do. And you're going to get into these kind of slow grinds. You've really got to try and find a better shot than that, because that's going to be there at any point in the offense.
Barry Brown Jr. leads all scorers with 9 as Will McDowell White gets inside. He's fouled on the way through. Step to the stripe for a couple.
Will White does, and I mentioned it during halftime of their last regular season game. That little skip that he puts in when he uses the ball screen, it buys him an extra half a second to really evaluate what is the defender doing. Firstly, he's going to look behind and see, okay, Sean McDonald, my primary defender, got clipped on the screen. Where is the big? So he's looking at Will Magnay. Where's Will Magnay? And as soon as he sees him retreat, that little skip allows him to get downhill with a head of speed and get to the free throw line.
Couple of good at the line for McDowell White. Shooting 90% from the stripe this season. An outstanding campaign. Really playing himself into long-term Boomers calculations and maybe more as Magnay takes it inside. Bumps into Repair and he'll go to the line.
And the defensive rotation here, just a little slow on the weak side coming across as you see Repair just coming to the pitch a bit late. You compare that to before with Tasmania, who are there already on the catch. And then that second defender on the 45, Will McDowell White, would read where he passes the ball.
And that's going to come with the maturity of Ryan Repair's game, because we know he has the assignment to go out there and basically sit in the pocket of somebody and really harass them on the defensive end, where he gets a bit too attached off the ball rather than being on that help side where he would have been able to potentially take a charge on that roll.
So 1 point spread. Oh, McDowell White, pretty move. Inside to Parton. Beautiful play from the Breakers.
That is all types of sauce from Will McDowell White. Have a look at that. That's
beautiful transition move.
That's how you break the press. Have a look at this. Pass out.
That's a meat pie
You
with
reach,
all the sauce.
I teach. A little extra pass and the M1 opportunity. You're Clint Steindl, you just cannot afford to go for the steal there. You're already behind in numbers.
Hard at the line, strikes it. New Zealand with their biggest lead of the game at 4. 8 lead changes in the early stages. Neither side's been able to find a clean break. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Pete Hooley with you. Nerily Meadows courtside. Great to have your company. Game 2 of this playoff series. A huge 3 from Sean McDonald.
Mr. McDonald. All the confidence in the world. That time they're on the same play they did before where they hit Will Magnay on that short roll for the M1. And this time Derek Pardon does not hard show. A little bit of hesitation and Sean McDonald absolutely takes advantage of that.
Doesn't need much of an invitation. Shooting at 37% on the season from downtown. Arthur and Doyle get tangled up once more. That'll stay a JackJumpers ball. Let's take a look at the Amy replay here.
Just gets held up for a second on that handoff. Not really a clear communication from New Zealand. And that's 3 for Sean McDonald.
Let's check in courtside. Nerily Meadows.
And that big 3 was exactly what they needed to get the crowd back into it. They erupted at that moment because the New Zealand Breakers had got right on top of things, and when they had their biggest lead of the game of 4 points, the crowd have been quiet for quite some time. They're very loud again now.
There is Rupert doing what he does best. He is a nightmare to try and get past in the full court. So Sean McDonald hits the 3, and Ryan Rupert, it's his length and it's his ability to move his feet. He never stands still, and when you've got arms like that, he's going to get his hand on it. He's such an elite defender because of that wingspan. Because even when he may be out of position with his body, just got to put his hand out there and get a crossover or get his hand on a loose ball. Such an exciting young talent.
Wingspan being measured at 7'3", which is terrifying.
That's borderline tying your shoes without bending over. That is.
It's a long way, isn't it, Pete?
It's a 3-point lead to the Breakers. What can Doyle do about that? Step back to the crossover. And Brantley's called for the wall.
I just want to see Brantley be confident. Grab that rebound, look ahead. If he doesn't have a clear kick ahead up the court, watch him bring that ball up, set a bit of that secondary offense, and go back to a dribble handoff or maybe a dribble pitch to that wing. Create a little mismatch and get back down on the block, because right now he's putting a lot of pressure on them in the keyway, but he's got to trust himself and back himself in to carry that ball up and play a bit of that small ball point guard role.
A couple of turnovers for Brantley so far. Doyle makes them pay.
That's a breakdown from the Breakers on the defensive end. There was some more action to come from that baseline out of bounds, and in the end it was the first screen. There wasn't even a whole lot of connection. Milton Doyle wide open. He's into double figures. 10 points already in the first half.
At 10 points in the entire game on Sunday. The first into double digits in this ball game tonight. Nice find from Pardon underneath. Rupert able to lay it home. And the instant answer from the Breakers. Now McVeigh steps into a 3. He knocks it down.
Time out here from New Zealand. They've seen enough. 2 breakdowns on the defensive end.
Lead back in Tassie's hands.
You just see here the short roll and the cut from Rupert. That second side offense. And Jack McVeigh. Same play as before.
We see a lot of teams run that, where you set that kind of brush screen, and if your communication's not spot on, defensively, like we see there, Liafa's trying to switch onto Milton Doyle, but there's no screen set. You've just got to stay attached.
And most of the time, their defensive communication has been spot on the Breakers. They trail by 1 at the moment. Of course, such a big part of their defense has been Ryan Rupert. He's projected mid-first round for the NBA draft, and they've had a lot of success with next stars and players getting drafted to the NBA in recent years, the Breakers.
They sure have. I mean, look at last year. I know Hugo Besson what he did in the league compared to where he got drafted. But Usman Jeng, he's been out injured. We haven't seen a whole lot of him. Rayan Repair, you kind of try and think about the similarities that maybe him and Usman Jeng share in terms of their length, the way they go about their business. I think Repair's skill set's a little bit further along than we saw Usman Jeng last season, who was phenomenal towards the end of NBL23. I love that Rayan Repair's continuing to fight for this championship. We so often see next stars, maybe they say, look, we're getting close towards the draft night or all the workouts and maybe pull up stumps. Not Rayan Repair, he wants to win a championship.
You're right in the lottery mix.
Well, if that is true, I would be having a conversation.
That's a worrying sign. He didn't look, she looked quite happy, and I'm not sure he looked quite as happy with that sign.
A busy Valentine's Day for Jack McVeigh.
Oh, that's a conversation on the way home.
I think a lot of Tasmania probably feels the same way about Jack McVeigh. Such a barometer and a spark plug for this Tassie lineup. He's got 6 points on a couple of 3 balls. And Tassie back in front. 9 lead changes in this opening half. Great to have you with us. Thursday night playoff hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Will McDowell-White bursts his way through the defence. Another lead change.
And another little breakdown from Tasmania. He's trying to set up the offense. They're trying to set that double down screen for Isaiah Liapa. If you're Clint Steiner, you just got to take a step off. There's no point pressuring him at the halfway line. And once he gets rid of it, don't let him get it back. Who else? Yet again, Rayan Repair. He's all over the JackJumpers defensively.
Really making his presence felt is the teenager. Such strong basketball pedigree. Dad captain of the French national team. Sister spent a long time in the WNBA. Just over a minute remaining in this opening half. Breakers by 1. Harden inside. He's not happy with the call. Referee says he walked.
Both teams just struggling really to find a rhythm offensively right now. The defense has been pretty good. You see Milton Doyle start to rotate. Oh. And I'm not sure if that one's a travel.
No, he spilt it afterwards. I think that was pretty good.
Would have been a bit stiff there, Pete.
If you're New Zealand right now, this entire game is Jack McVeigh. He's going to go to the line for 2. Crafty move. Every single ball screen has to be a short roll that you highlighted. The way they're attacking, they're jumping out, they're showing that hard hedge. If you're Derek Pardon, if you're Rob Lowe and you come in, after you set that screen, it's a couple of steps, then look back to Will McDowell because they're trying to get the ball out of his hands. And if they can get that ball to whoever that big man is in the short roll, the whole floor opens up. You can have shooters, you can have cutters, or you might have a dunk yourself.
McVeigh at the stripe. Ties things up once more.
One shot. Thanks, Barry.
Neither side has broken clear early. Traded blows the whole way through. McVeigh splits it at the line. Doyle pinches it off Repair. Gives him a little bit of his own medicine and takes it all the way inside. Just couldn't get the finish.
Oh, jeez, if I'm Scott Roth, I'm potentially just having a quick look at this. Good hands from Milton Doyle. If he wasn't going to get it, Rayan Repair was gone. And then right here, just lowers the shoulder ever so slightly.
Yeah, he's a little bit tough there.
Well, it was a good hit in the end, but probably didn't have to do it. He had to step past Barry Brown Jr. by giving him a bit of a shove. Had him time to really put his body on the line.
45 seconds remaining. Again, they send all kinds of pressure at McDowell-White. This JackJumpers defense. He swings it cross court. Vodanovic from the corner.
Big Tommy V checks in. Bang. That's what he's there for. Energy, physicality, as you see right now. I think he's bumped about 17 players in the last 45 seconds. But it's that level of intensity that he brings every single possession, and right now this game suits him to a T.
That's a phenomenal pass from Will McDowell-White. Again, we're talking about him buying time for himself. He had enough to figure out, are they going to help to allow him to get that pass? And that's a out there on top of Donovan. The hands were clean. That's what he was worried about, but you can see just getting caught up with his legs. What a back and forth contest we have. This is what you want to see in the postseason.
Plenty for this Tassie crowd to ride throughout the evening. You'd imagine there wouldn't be too many in My State Bank Arena that aren't right on the edge of their seats. Doyle hits both. 1 point game.
First half from Milton Doyle, highlighted off the top of the show. They struggled to play against New Zealand in the past. Started off well tonight with 12 points.
And get some early rest. Breakers take the last possession if they can of this opening half. Up by 1. McDowell White gets inside, creates some space and hits. Tassie back the other way. Kenyon had the prayer in the opening term. Weeks has done it in the second.
Agent 97.
Who says history never repeats?
What a way to end the half.
Extraordinary from Jared Weeks and the JackJumpers. And we are all tied up at the long break.
It's just a tough shot. Derek Parton came across as well. Jared Weeks says, I don't need to see the basket. Have a look at this angle.
Look at the crowd. Bang.
There is no better angle to see the nest up and about than that.
Unbelievable finish to the first half. It's been an absolute treat so far. All tied up at halftime. The Jackies and the Breakers, 42 apiece.
I am the luckiest coach in the world. I've been in the process of developing as a coach for 15 years. Every possession, you feel like you're coaching for your career.
You got this. You got this. Play the right way. You got this. Let's go.
Building a team is important. Selecting the people that are going to be around you and with you for this journey is important. Doesn't mean we're going to get it right every time, but yeah, we definitely did get it right this year. You want to have a tough team, get tough players. And that's what we did. You don't get a tough team if your 14th player doesn't step on the practice floor and give it everything you got. It sets the tone for everyone. To get it right this time is going to stay with me forever. Winning a championship? Yeah, that'll be big.
Well, it needed to be big, according to the coach. It's been a big first half from both of these two teams. The JackJumpers facing elimination, the Breakers the chance to get through to the grand final. And it is all tied up at 42 apiece at half-time. Mitch Creek and Pete Hawley, it has been a ball game in the first half.
It's been a lot of fun to watch, and we look at the halftime stats. They're a lot prettier now than they were after quarter time. Offense started to flow a little better in that second quarter. Both teams are basically even across the board. I mean, JackJumpers have hit 4 more threes, which helped them tick the scoreboard over, but 2 of those have been buzzer-beating miracle heaves at the end of the first quarter, into the second quarter. But so far, this is what we expect. Closeout games are hard to do if you're New Zealand, and when the back's against the wall, Tassie are always going to fight.
Well, they were always going to come out with some physicality and some real energy, Mitch, and they've done that so far, the JackJumpers. But the Breakers have been there every bit of the way. This man's had a big part in it, Barry Brown.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, mate. He started off a little bit slow. A few of these little floater shots he did miss, but then he got himself going. He even checked that left hand and told everyone there, my hand's okay. And as we saw, a few little good plays, finishing around the ring, got a few jumpers to fall, and that really started to tick the offense over when New Zealand did seem to struggle a little bit at the offensive end.
Doyle for the JackJumpers. Well, he has struggled in recent history, but this got him going. That was a rare mistake on the defensive end. And Milton Doyle started feeling good about himself, and this is what he has to do. They need someone who's going to be that figurehead on the offensive end. It was Josh Adams last year in these games. It's got to be Milton Doyle because he's had a fantastic season, the All-NBL first-teamer from Tasmania. So I'd like to see Rayan Repair continue to go to Milton Doyle more in this second half if you're New Zealand, because I thought Rayan Repair's first half was enormous and a lot of fun to watch. But these are the 2 offensive threats, and we're starting to see them both tick the scoreboard over now.
Yeah, they're starting to really both put their teams on their back. Both all NBL caliber talents, and showing it in the opening half here. Of course, this is the second game of this series. The first game of Playoff Series 2 was played last night between Sydney and Cairns. It was the Kings who came out on top. Pretty impressive performance from them, Creaky.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Cairns did an absolutely fantastic job for the most part of the game. No Keanu Pinder, no Tajir McCall, but the effort was there. DJ Hogue was huge. Obviously, there were some sharpshooters out there that have been quiet all season long, and we'll get to him in a minute, but that man right there, Mr. MVP, put that team on the back down the stretch, made some huge plays, and told the Sydney Kings all about it.
Emphatic dunk toward the end of the game too from Xavier Cook. So that's where it stands. New Zealand lead this series. They can go through to the championship series tonight. Sydney and Cairns tomorrow. Both game 3s on Sunday. A little bit of spice added to game 2 as well of that Cairns-Sydney series. Jonah Antonio firing back at Chase Buford. Buford said, had a little bit to say about Jonah Antonio, and he wasn't happy with it.
Yeah, Chase Buford basically saying that they had Antonio come in and he was a flame torch, and he was, but he was still -4 in the plus-minus, and that he's got to do that to cover up his deficiencies on the other end to make him play against us. I like Chase Buford. I love Chase Buford, the way he goes about it, to be honest. I don't know if he had to go down that path with what a young fella did without playing any minutes all season, really. I thought he was enormous, Jonah Antonio.
Just adding a little bit of intrigue to things if we needed it. It's been an incredible playoff series so far. It's going to be a great second half here. All tied up as we go into it. The JackJumpers and the Breakers, 42 apiece. Second half on the way next. Don't go anywhere.
Bing bong. Bing bong number 2. It's like not lined up, hey? Trouble on the tools.
Welcome to NBL Weekenders, a series where your favourite hoopers will jump off the court and onto the tools with help of the team at Bunnings.
Hey guys, down here at Bunnings Warehouse, we are doing a European laundry. The
That's the first one. And then your base paint.
I do like the matte black, definitely.
It is good. It's timeless.
Awesome. Perfect. There we go. Smooth, very smooth. All right, it's all tying in. Floating shelf in. What a space saver.
I mean, I feel like our job isn't done yet. We believe we have a group to try and win this whole thing. That's our goal of the season. We train hard, that's what we pride ourselves in. I think it was always eventually going to click and playing jack jumper basketball, which is physical, and finding our mojo on the offensive end. I think we've improved as the season's gone along, and for me, that's a sign of a good team. We can talk all we want about sacrifice, do this, do that, but it all becomes a lot easier if you genuinely care and like the guys you're around with. And so for me, it comes down to relationships. People in Tassie would lose their mind if we brought over a championship. It'd be chaotic.
The always energetic Jack McVeigh, 7 points in the opening half. And we are all tied up as we go into the second half of play. Game 2 of this first playoff series. Breakers win and they go through to the championship series. Tassie wins and they keep it alive and force a game 3 on Sunday. Brantley to start things off.
You can already see a little bit of an adjustment McDowell White made right there. He's expecting them to quickly show or hard hedge, and he just picked the ball up and got rid of it quickly to allow that ball to zing across the perimeter.
Jarrell Brantley getting involved in the offense straight away. So too is Milton Doyle. That one rattles out. McDowell White has faced plenty of pressure throughout the evening from this JackJumpers defense. Repair inside. Abercrombie got Doyle in the air and then flung it wildly off the top of the backboard. That was unconventional at best.
That's normally a pretty good shot there for Tom Abercrombie. Tries to take it.
Kenyon for three.
Okay.
There he is, Pete.
We officially have the full repertoire from Matt Kenyon. Showed a side of the backboard, buzzer beater runner, nothing but net three, an air ball, and a front of the rim three ball. We're out. That is the full repertoire.
No more three-point attempts.
He's 2 of 5.
The game.
The full house, the royal flush, whatever you like. Matt Kenyon's delivered it all. It's been a hand that he's played so far tonight. He's got 8 points. He's 2 of 5 from downtown, including that quarter-time buzzer beater. Breakers up by 2, 47-45. Turnover, they fight for the loose ball. McDowell White pokes it away.
And just a little bit of hot potato right now for Tasmania. Need to settle down, run a good offense.
Good hands from Sean McDonald. He's like Repair had the step to get past. And look, if you are Matt Kenyon, and a lot of people don't want him shooting the rock because we know he doesn't shoot a great deal consistently well from outside, but he's got to continue to stay confident and take those. If you're 0 of 5, if you're 0 of 6, it's a different story. He's only 2 of 5 tonight, and the defense has to show some respect.
Breakers come up with a loose ball. Let's go courtside, Nerily Meadows.
Milton Doyle was the last man out from the change rooms at halftime. We were hoping to speak to him at the halftime break, but he had a blood nose. When he emerged, he had the tried and tested tampon up that right nostril, and it gave Scott Rock, who we know can be a rather intense coach, a bit of a giggle. So it was nice to see a smile from the coach. From the Breakers' perspective, I asked Mody Mail what the one word would be to describe his second half and what he wants to see from his Breakers, and he said defense.
Thanks, Nez. A little bit of levity in things for Scott Roth this evening in the serious situation. Mody Mayor.
Well, it's probably either it's probably either that or you get the tape wrapped around the face, around the nose.
That's the elephant man look.
The infamous Andrew Gaze look.
Yeah, I'm probably voting Doyle's way.
We might have to get the graphic up of Andrew Gaze back in the heyday, wrapped up like the mummy. Beautiful look.
If you had to pick, you're probably going with Milton Doyle, aren't you?
I'm not running back out there with 2 tampons shoved up my schnozzle.
Oh, you're going with the Gaze look?
I'm going Gaze look. I'm letting everyone know that it was so severe, that little blood nose. I'm going to walk out looking like the mummy.
Foul on the play as McVeigh makes his way through the middle of the key.
Tough cover. Leads back to the basket, Jack McVeigh, because you've got to respect his shot if he chooses to face up. There we go. Here's Milton Doyle.
Not out. He wanted to be spending his night. A whack to the face. Tangled up with Bozalia for a couple of times. McDowell White with a big defensive play. Sends it back at Matt Kenyon. Oh, and then crosses him over. Slings it cross court to Brown. That one doesn't go.
Just that pass from Will McDowell White. We talk about hot free agents after this final series is done. My goodness, Will McDowell White, any team would want him. That man is probably getting handsomely paid and deservedly so.
Kenyon gets inside, took a lick on the play. What do you think the ceiling is for Will McDowell White, Pete?
It's endless. I mean, it was only a few years ago we know he had a little taster with potential summer league, but not every point guard locally can do this, where you come down and you really survey the floor a step ahead of everybody else. He does it exceptionally well, and I think Derek Rucker was saying he's the second best true point guard in the league behind Derek Walton, which says a lot. Derek Walton's resume speaks for itself. But I think everybody in every team would just love to have Will McDowell White slot into that starting point guard role.
Okay, guys, one shot.
You just love to play alongside him. He's got a future in the national team, no doubt about it. But I just love watching him grow every single year.
What's he like to play against, Mitch?
Yeah, he's really hard to read because he does everything. He passes the ball, obviously, at an elite level. He can shoot the ball, he can get hot. Even last year, he had a huge poster dunk on our Southeast Melbourne Phoenix on our home court. So massive shout out to that play. That was an absolute ripper. I tried not to cheer, but sometimes you just got to tip your hat. But
jeez, if I'll tell you what, if you're Torrey Smith-Milner right now, you are flat that got brought up in a game.
Yeah, sorry, Torrey. You're right. You know, he's so hard to kind of get a balance on, because he can be aggressive, he can play out of both hands, gets on the rim and finishes really well. So he's an absolute nightmare for teams to try and scout for.
Now White shot us plenty of his tricks tonight. Brantley goes baseline, can't get it to go. Pardon puts it back in.
Third offensive rebound for Derek Pardon. 9 rebounds on the night so far. Damien Krislovic just got to use his body, get down low, and just drive Derek Pardon away from the hoop.
8 double-doubles so spinning his way, got Pardon in the air. He'll go to the line to cash the bonus.
I'll tell you what, Doyle, so he's going to get the M1 opportunity here. Have another look. He just got Derek Pardon to bite on it. And he's looking for something on the ground. Don't tell me the tampon's fallen out.
Please no.
He's copped a whack in the nose. He's back out there.
Oh, it has.
Milton Doyle ties things up at 51. Now he's going without any assistance to keep that blood from flowing from the nose. Lakers try and get it through a few sets of hands. Pardon working down low. Down White, step back. Doyle comes up with the rebounds.
15 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals for Milton Doyle. Stepping up when his team needs it the most, and add a turnover to that mix.
Harry Brown coming across like a cornerback looking for an interception. Brantley gets tangled up with Doyle and was fouled.
Tasmania just starting to struggle a little bit down at that offensive end. You need to look for someone else to score the ball. Milton Doyle, 15 points right now, 5 of 12. But the next top scorers is Jack McVeigh, who's been a little bit quiet apart from those 2 threes and some free throws. And then you've got Matt Kenyon. I know we spoke about him before, struggling a little bit with that corner 3 ball, but so far he's their second highest leading scorer. So Tasmania, to really get momentum in this third quarter, are going to have a few guys step up and start putting that ball in the hole.
Brantley to Pardon. It goes baseline and gets it to go. Krislovic not happy without the call in there.
They wanted to travel. Scott Roth wanted to travel, but Isaac White wanted an offensive foul for the hook, and I think that was more likely to be called as Jarrell Brantley just takes Rashard Kelly's cookies.
Rashard Kelly hasn't scored yet. Only attempted 1 field goal. Brown gets inside. Slaps the basket stanchion as he's fouled on the way through.
That is a naughty crossover there, Pete Hawley. Look at this.
Have a look at it. Well, this was the hook. That is right there. That should be an offensive foul. The little chicken wing to hold Fabian Krislovic out the way. He wanted that, and then
he missed the start of it.
He did when Jared Weeks.
Spinning around.
Out of my way. Look at this. Look at this crossover. Just Jared Weeks spinning around. Oh my.
May I have this dance, please, sir?
No friendly roll for Brown on the first one.
Are we feeling cheeseburgers, boys?
Burgers on the island.
It's going to be a busy island. Look at him.
Oh, he wants it.
He wants it. The left hand.
A little bit of a smirk from Barry Brown. Oh, he's going to hear it if he misses this. Oh, he silences the crowd.
Where's the tip off the ring when you need it?
The whole state of Tasmania was even more disappointed than usual with the opposition bucket there.
And I'll be honest, that is the scariest moment in the NBL. You miss that first one, and you feel it.
Just in Tassie or anywhere?
Oh, just anywhere, mate. It's I only gave away 1 cheeseburger lot this year. I think last year I gave away a couple, but this year it was just the 1. But even the 1 time I did, you get plenty of picture messages and videos, and you get some tags. It's always a laugh. I always try and go in and get a few cheeseburgers myself and say, hey, look, I gave up, $20,000 worth of business for you tonight. I apologise, but can I have one?
1 per customer, please.
Need that gold 100% off card like Andrew Gaze claims to have had the MVP night a couple of weeks ago. Kelly's cross-court pass picked off.
Rashard Kelly, we know that he came off the bench in this game. He struggled. Just scored the possession before. Scott Roth ready to call a timeout, and he's going to get a little help here with a careless turnover from the Breakers. So Scott Roth wanted a timeout, and in the end, He's going to cancel it.
No foul there.
Uncle Will had the ball.
No.
Okay.
Michael Aylan's seen more than 800 of those situations in his prolific NBL career.
I think he'd want a few more of those where he says no, and the coach turns around and says, all right.
No worries. That's exactly the response he was looking for.
It's very, very hard not to love Modi. Like, it's very hard. I feel like I'd love to go and have coffee and cake with the big fella.
Isaac White gets inside. He's able to lay it home and will go to the line to try and tie things up. We see it on the Amy replay.
Well, again, there's no screen set, so if you're Barry Brown Jr., you've got to stay square. He's expecting that screen to come. Fabian Krislovic looked like he wanted to flip it. It's a tough place to play. The crowd is so loud, but as a defensive unit, you've got to be screaming that there's nothing there and get downhill. And if this car is still been given away, that means Gazy is ready to give it away to somebody finally.
Of course, this season, with thanks to MG, we are giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car valued at $44,990. You can enter now at nbl.com.au/winmg.
Somebody's going to win the car because somebody walks away with 50K.
Sunk the half-court shot last night in Sydney.
There's no reason now. If you haven't already jumped on board, we promise we will get it back from Andrew Gaze.
Brown, strong move, taking it inside. Couple of bodies hit the court. Rob Lowe's down. But Barry Brown Jr. is up to 12 points to lead the Breakers.
Such a tough cover. And if you're Jared Weeks, Barry Brown Jr. has got the speed. You've got to be ready. Get down in the stance and try and slide your feet. Easier said than done.
So 3-point ball game. White spinning his way through the key, loses the handle, taken away by Brantley. Biggest lead for the Jack Jumpers tonight, 6. Biggest lead for the Breakers, 4. 11 lead changes in all. As Brantley gets inside and gives the Breakers a 5-point lead, their biggest of the game.
And Brantley now top scorer for the New Zealand Breakers with 13 points. Finding the mismatches down low. Uses his size, his speed. It's been a tough night for Kelly so far, and that's a tough matchup.
Well, it has.
I think it'll get harder.
As soon as he got the ball, Jarrell Brantley, Rashawn Kelly's going to try and get his feet to the baseline, try and cut that off. First step from Jarrell Brantley just too quick. All 3 imports now for New Zealand in double figures.
Jarrell Kelly's night, 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting, 3 turnovers, no rebounds, no assists. 13.5 minutes. Tough going for him so far. Doyle's been great for the Jack Jumpers and continues to deliver.
This just has the making of a Milton Doyle clutch performance. He's the only one who's really consistently ticking the scoreboard over. He's been huge in some clutch moments in NBL23 so far. And here he is again.
Takeaway for Doyle. The open floor for the Jack Jumpers. Kelly to Krislovic. Tied up just like that.
A couple of oracles up here today. Doyle, right on cue.
3rd steal for Doyle. And now a foul on White.
He's doing a bit of everything. Doyle, it's just a tough shot. And right here, his hands on Barry Brown Jr. on the crossover. It's a 3rd steal, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals.
Tassie led by 6. They scored the opening bucket of the 2nd quarter after the quarter-time buzzer beater from Kenyon. The Jack Jumpers with a game-high 5-point lead moments ago. Now a 5-0 run for the Jack Jumpers. McDowell White can't get it to go. Lowe trying to keep, Vodanovic, I should say, trying to keep it alive. Spilled out to Kelly. Now Steindel's fouled.
That's a bad foul. It's going to send Cliff Steindl to the free throw line.
The defense is really taking another level right now for Tasmania. Getting stops at the defensive end. A little bit undersized when it comes to boxing out and rebounding, but just getting deflections. Just getting to the right spots and going back the other way. This is the level they need to keep playing at if they want to take control of this game.
They know what's in front of them, Tassie. Trying to keep their season alive tonight. Haven't led in this 3rd term until now. Breakers legend Mika Vukona sitting next to Josh Majed on the bench.
was such a part of the Breakers' halcyon days in the mid-2010s. Now part of the Tasmania coaching staff.
Looks like he'll still go out there and
down
10 points, 10 rebounds.
Get out there and
5 hard ball gets.
Bang around with Derek Carden for a little while.
Geez, he looks in shape still. Big boy.
So Tassie by 2. 40 seconds remaining here in this third period. Do or die tonight for the JackJumpers. They win, they force game 3 on Sunday. Taken away by the Tassie defence. And Milton Doyle sizes things up. 7-second difference shot in game box. He's putting them on his back, Milton Doyle. He's doing everything he can.
He is so fun to watch. He's such a smooth operator. Just took his time, buzzed up the defense, got downhill. Have a look at this. Just patient, saw an opening, took the bump, good enough to keep his balance in the air, and an M1 opportunity. Up to 20 points. This is the Milton Doyle that we've all come to love in NBL23.
And credit Jack McVeigh just there, understanding that the first screen they had a switch. Isaiah Liafa, one of New Zealand's best defenders, one-on-one on the perimeter, sets another little screen and slips, gets the mismatch they want. Milton Doyle finishes.
9-0 JackJumpers run to take a 4-point lead.
That's going to be trouble. Isaiah Liafa. They're going to get a chance here to go in three-quarter time with a bigger lead.
Pete, quarter time. JackJumpers buzzer beater. Half time.
No.
JackJumpers buzzer beater.
Don't say it. The Oracle's coming back.
Why not? Give the ball to Milton Doyle. Let him rock.
Handstand, backflip, three-pointer.
You know what? He's had a couple of isolation step-back threes, so just put the ball in his hands. Everybody clear out. Couple of dribbles, step back going left. Nothing but net walk.
Doyle can't get 9-0 run. And they go to three-quarter time, up by 4 over the Breakers. Three-quarter time in Tasmania. The JackJumpers close the term on a 9-0 run, needing to win to keep their season alive. Milton Doyle played a massive part, and they go into three-quarter time up by 4. Mitch Creek and Pete Poorley, the JackJumpers really came to play to win that third term.
Yeah, they did. And look, this is a very slow start to the game scoring-wise for both teams. It was about 7-6 with 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Things have started to really turn around since that point, but they always need someone. They need one figurehead on the offensive end to take over games. It's been Milton Doyle all season long, and once again, it's been Milton Doyle once again there, and what a spin move to open up the fourth quarter. 6-point lead. Milton Doyle, 22 points. What struggles against New Zealand?
325.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. That must have been old news because tonight he's absolutely on fire. 22 points, shooting 50% from the floor right now. That man needs to be stopped, Pete Hooley.
11-0 run for the Breakers. And My State Bank Arena is absolutely jumping. Let's check in courtside. Nerily Meadows.
As you say, an 11-0 run for the JackJumpers, but I was listening into New Zealand at three-quarter time, and Coach Mody Mayo was very, very composed, I've got to say. He was very controlled in his messaging to his men. Let's remember that New Zealand, they win tonight, and they're into the grand final series. But if they lose, they're still alive.
Well, this is a bit of a worry here. Milton Doyle's down, but this is actually his 4th personal foul as well. I was just about to say that if you're New Zealand, you want to try and go at Milton Doyle, let him pick up his 4th foul. They had the mismatch. Jack McVeigh, that's away a little bit of a jersey hold. Milton Doyle. No, look here, I think he might
got a clip on the old.
Well, yeah, he might have copped
pieces.
a knee where you never want to cop a knee. That's what it looked like. And that's his 4th personal. So these are going to be some really big minutes here and a big decision for Scott Roth. I think you've got to. I think you're going to have to sit him down for at least a couple of minutes.
I'm rolling with him. Right now, momentum's your way.
They snapped the run. 11-0 that the JackJumpers had. Breakers interject with a score. Harden can't add the bonus. Kelly steps right up. He's been quiet tonight. Maybe now he can shoulder a bit of the load with Doyle hampered.
Well, for New Zealand, don't let Tasmania and Milton Doyle off the hook. Put him in some action. Try and get him out of this ball game.
Playing for their playoff lives, and they look like it at the moment, the JackJumpers. That's off Abercrombie. Quiet night for Tom Abercrombie. 0 of 3 from the field. Hasn't scored as yet. Oh, and Doyle gives it away. Abercrombie can't buy a bucket. And he's frustrated, jumping up and down. We know what he brings to the table, his championship experience.
Wipe the floor.
Good stoppage here from Mike Whalen. Love that. Player safety, heard it right there, right in the middle of the floor. Well, they're not going to come a whole lot easier than that.
He needs 2 points, Pete, or 1 point to get to 4,300 for his career. He needs 2 points to tie the man to my left with 4,301.
There you go. A few buckets. Need to pass it more.
How many players do you reckon there are that have 4,300 points in the NBL? Active players.
Active players?
Yep.
6.
Pete?
Daniel Johnson, Chris Golding, 4.
4 is correct. Mitch Creek's among them. Golding, Johnson, Cotton. Abercrombie 4-2-9-9 coming into tonight.
Cotton. Been here 6.5 years.
It's incredible. Just testament to that man's skill set. Heavy landing in the keyway. Magnay goes down hard. Let's take another look at it.
It's a bit of a tunneling from Derek Pardon there.
Pulled the chair out from under him.
Well, I think he was just trying to get position to get for the offensive rebound. And it looks like he's trying to tunnel, get underneath Will Magnay. I don't think that's what he's trying to do at all. He was just trying to get front spot for a little tip in or a tip dunk. Will Magnay, it's a big body going down, comes straight back up.
Magnay left the ground before Pardon turned his back, so it would have been hard for Derek to know what was coming. 6-point lead to the JackJumpers. They trailed by 5 deep in that third period. Kelly just muscles his way inside. Game high 8-point spread.
Milton Doyle sitting down on the bench as well. These are huge minutes.
Blocked by Magnay. Pardon puts it back up and in.
11 rebounds for Derek Pardon. He has been enormous. 5 offensive rebounds, 15 points. He's got 11 boards, 15 points, 3 steals.
Double-double number 9 on the season for Derek Parton. Magnay puts the head down. He'll go to the line. Tassie playing inspired basketball at the moment. And Modi Mayor wants to talk it over with his team. The Jackies have taken control of the ball game. The Breakers trying to fight their way back into it. Tassie 70, lead New Zealand 64 with just over 7 minutes remaining. So a bit to talk about for Scott Roth here. He's got a bit to weigh up at the moment, Mitch, with Milton Doyle having 4 fouls, but he's getting some good minutes out of the likes of Rashad Kelly.
Yeah, and look, I think right now, the idea to sit Milton Doyle, a lot of people would say, oh, there's 7 minutes left. There is a bit of a risk, but it's the dice you have to roll right now. And I think Kelly's just stepped up at the right time, comes in, gets a little easy one, gets a quick little roll, hits his mid-range. He was a little careless in that third quarter. A few little turnovers and just wasn't clean with the ball. But right now, this timeout's great for Tasmania. 6-point lead. Bit over 7 minutes to go. Scotty Ross going to go in there, tell him to calm down, run some great offense, allow Milton Doyle to sit down for a minute and watch these boys go and take care of business.
So 6-point lead to Tassie. 70 plays 64. With Hungry Jack's NBL, you can whopper your way to LA. Grab any large burger meal at Hungry Jack's and enter your receipt code to win 4 tickets, flights, spending money, and accommodation to a basketball game in the USA. Head to hungryjacks.com.au/Whopper LA for more details. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Pete Pooley with you. Nerily Meadows is courtside. I'll tell you what, it is fever pitch in My State Bank Arena at the moment. Nez, you were just listening in to Scott Roth in that Tassie timeout.
Yeah, and the one message that he really wanted to get across strongly was we need an extra body on Parton. Don't be a spectator. He said that 2 or 3 times. Parton up to 15 points now. And he was pretty much like, boys, just get this done. Lock it down, get it done.
As long as they keep ticking the scoreboard over and getting some stops, you can buy some extra minutes here for Milton Doyle. Last thing you want to do is have to throw him out there in the next 30 seconds to a minute and he picks up a 5th foul and you really have to finish the game without him.
Bigger buffer you can build, the better at the moment for Tassie. Here's Brown getting to his right hand. Magnay taps it off the cylinder. Brantley thought about the 3. Liapa passes it up. Miguel White goes to work. Back to Liapa. Back to Brantley. Where it all started, he can't finish.
And I'll tell you what, if the New Zealand Breakers right there, great ball movement, hot potato, everyone touched the ball. Back into Brantley's hands, it's a little bit long.
Brantley with a goodness. Huge rejection coming from the weak side, and then a big 3 from Clint Steindl.
Well, what a 3-ball, but Jarrell Brantley absolutely spiked this.
Leapfrogged the man.
Whoop. There's the aim replay, but he nearly jumped over him. Oh, he did jump over in the end. And the knockdown on Clint Steindl.
And the skipper.
Jarrell Brantley, understandably flat. But again, it's going to give nothing on the stat sheet. That block is only possible because Barry Brown Jr.'s ability to jump straight up and be vertical in his cylinder and allow a little bit of time for Jarrell Brantley to come and really send that back to half court.
A lot of basketball stadiums might have volleyball being played on a Thursday night usually, Pete. And Jarrell Brantley wouldn't have looked out of place in a front court on a volleyball court, let alone a basketball court there.
Oh, no doubt. And again, they end up getting the 3-ball. Here's the turnover down the other end. Just that full court pressure that Tasmania delivered all game long. It's designed to get a couple of turnovers like that. Get the ball out of certain individuals' hands and then just see if you can't stress a couple of players out.
Here's Kelly. He can't hit. Glidden's into the game.
His first minutes of the game, Cam Glidden. So this is Ronnie Mayo sensing they need a bit more offensive firepower and especially shooting the rock with the way they're packing it in defensively.
21% from downtown. Glidden, an excellent shooter from that range. He might get a chance here. Pass was a little bit off, and it's called an offensive foul.
He's gone with the hook. just a little bit. It's a little bit wayward from Will McDowell White, otherwise Clint Steiner would have been ready to let it fly. But I think it's a good substitution you see there. He just had to go up and get it. And oh my, there is not a whole lot in that one. We've seen what Jarrell Brantley's got away with a couple of times down low. Wasn't a whole heap in that. That's why Mody Mayall's not happy, but they've just got to lock in and get a stop.
Got a feeling Mayall saw the same replay we did, and they get a stop. Right on cue, Pete Hawley.
Well, he's got a challenge up his sleeve.
Brantley back the other way, set back in by Kelly.
You can't challenge that one.
Who amps up the Tassie crowd.
And it's all on the defensive end right now for Tassie, just getting stops, pressure up the court, and that's two absolute tough players going at it right now.
I know how hard it is when you're facing elimination to step up with the pressure on, but the closeout games are so tough. We're starting to see that right now because Tasmania, they've got the crowd behind them.
Now White tries to find something for the Breakers. Of course, they had to do it last year. They were down 1-0 to Melbourne United.
Remember that game 3 when they came back to John Cain Arena, Chris Goulding was ruled out of that one with a calf complaint. It didn't matter, Tasmania got the job done with some big shots making down the stretch. Clint Steiner, he's starting to find his groove. They're just not a team you want to face with their backs against the wall, and if they make it game 3, they're not going to be favourites. You know, their backs against the wall there as well, and oh boy.
This man right here, Clint Steiner, a DNP last game, didn't touch the court, comes out tonight. Big plays in the fourth quarter. That is exactly what the captain is doing tonight. Big play after big play, urging this Tasmanian team onto a victory so far.
13-point lead to the JackJumpers, a game high. And of course, they're going to have to buck a little bit of history if they are to proceed to a game 3 on Sunday. The record of teams that have won the first game in playoff series is imposing. 34-6 in the last 20 seasons after leading 1-0. However, of course, Tassie did it last year and the Wildcats did it the year prior. So there is a precedent, but it doesn't make it any easier to do what Tassie's trying to do to force a game 3.
It's going to be packed. The emotions will be running hot in New Zealand if there is a game 3, and they're on their way right now. What a performance.
Wouldn't want to be a GP in Tassie in the next couple of days doing blood pressure checks on any of the members of the population, I don't think, Halls.
I'm not sure they ever get to that point because they've been written off since they've come into the league. Nobody thought they'd make a championship series last year. Nobody thought they'd be successful last year. They were unbelievable. And then this year, when you look at the predictions, nobody thought they'd be able to replicate it because the emotion had worn off. They finished top 4. They're 5 minutes away from making a championship series once again. They just thrive with backs against the wall.
And they fell out of the gates this season too. I mean, they had such a slow start.
They were 20 minutes away from being 0-4 to start NBL23. They were down nearly 16 points to the Bullets in that 4th game. They played 4 games in the first 2 rounds and then rattled off 5 games in a row.
So a lot of work for the Breakers to do, and it starts here with Barry Brown Jr. Laces a triple.
And he's really got to get going right now. Only had 12 points before that, mainly all in the first half. He's the guy that has to step up. Between him and Will McDowell White, the ball has to be in their hands every possession.
We know the championship pedigree of this Breakers organisation over such a long period of time. JackJumpers come up empty there. Milton Doyle now.
Well, they can't afford to get too stagnant and take some ill-advised shots.
McDonald has it poked away by Brantley. Breakers in the open court, 2-on-2. Brantley goes all the way.
Talk about putting the pressure back on Tasmania. 5-point swing. Still got to execute in the half court. Jarrell Brantley's been enormous, 15 and 7.
McVeigh now for 3. He collects his own miss and puts it back in. Ten-point lead to Tassie. Let's go courtside. Nerily Meadows.
Listening to Mody Mayall in that last time out, and he said, boys, there's still time. We need to show some heart. Jarrell Brantley really backed him up and said, show some heart. He just had the opportunity there to cut the gap by another 3 points, but that last play from Brantley was big. They need to stay in this New Zealand.
And another big play on defense for them, Nez.
Here comes Barry Brown Jr. Goes to his left hand.
Tell you what, that is just such a smart play from Barry Brown Jr. Instead of trying to go up and finish over Will Magnay, just basically drives his shoulder into Will Magnay's gut, throws him off balance, doesn't even allow him to contest the shot. Good enough to finish.
If they go down the breakers, they are going to go down swinging, throwing some big haymakers on the way out. McDonald can't get it to go.
It's danger time right now for Tasmania. Ball hasn't touched Doyle's hands the last few possessions. Isaiah Liaf has done the job.
Here's Brown again. Not quite on that occasion.
6 rebounds to Will Magnay, but he's out on his feet. You can see he's gassed right now.
Tasmania could be 2.5 minutes away from forcing game 3, or 2.5 minutes away from their season ending, and Jack McVeigh doesn't want it to end here.
I've been waiting for him all night to turn around to that crowd, give him a mean look or throw his hands up, maybe a double pipe in, but Jack McVeigh, look at that short roll offense. Brantley goes to the corner. Jack McVeigh.
They love him.
3 ball. Bang.
Oh, wouldn't you? He's everything and more that the Tasmanian culture is about.
He's got more in store, Jack McVeigh. And the JackJumpers might yet as well. The Breakers would need something really special from here. But as we've seen throughout the season, they're a side that can deliver it.
Yeah, they've subbed out Derek Parton to put Rob Lowe in, trying to get maybe some pick and pop 3 balls down the stretch.
Brown goes to the floater. Brantley tips it home.
What a beast, Terrell Brantley. 17 points, 9 rebounds.
Lead at single digits for the Jackies at 9. 2 minutes remaining in game 2 of this playoff series. Game 3 on Sunday if we get there. McVeigh now to Doyle, who's done so much for them tonight. Time winding down. Milton Doyle can't hit.
It's a door ajar. Got to go quick. They need buckets.
And Barry Brown can get buckets.
Heck of a finish there. Your Tasmania here, just get a long one. Take your time. Get a good possession. Make sure your defensive transition's on point. No easy ones.
7-point spread. McVeigh's fouled.
Good call in the end. Isaiah Liaf didn't even bother to argue it. New Zealand players and Modi Mayo don't like it. These are going to be big free throws here. This is exactly what they needed. A good look. Nothing better than Jack McVeigh going to the free throw line for 2. That same possession, that same play, sorry, that little rub screen where there's no actual screen set, but again, Isaiah Liaf and Terrell Brantley been confused. I don't know if you can read lips, but Modi Mayo not too thrilled with that.
Matt Kenyon in for Isaac White.
Is that same offense you spoke about before, Pete? Just that little ghosting action. Jack McVeigh coming into that on ball, creating a little bit of communication difficulties. And you have to step behind, and you're right, mate. Just a little bit slow and just creates that confusion they need.
And it's been there all night long. And the beauty of running that set, whether you go side to side beforehand, is the fact that every now and then Jack McVeigh will set a screen. So then you have to be prepared to switch. But the problem is that's why your communication has to be so on point. Basically, if you see that screen get set and the defender, whoever it is, guarding the point guard, whoever guarding Milton Doyle, get hit with the screen, then it's a switch. You only switch on contact rather than just trying to do it in fast motion. It hasn't worked so far.
So 84-75, JackJumpers lead. Remember, they were down by 5 at 55-60. Late in the 3rd period, they ripped off an 11-0 run to take a 6-point lead early here in the last. And they haven't looked back. And now Modi Mayor is pleading with his team to find something over this remaining minute and 21 seconds. What do they turn to here, Mitch Creek, the Breakers?
I think right now you just need to get a good offense, a 2 or a 3. You don't have to just live by the 3 right now. Obviously, a 3 is great if you do get it, but if you do get a quick one, get the ball, Take it out of bounds if you're Tasmania and expect New Zealand to pressure up the floor. You've got to create a turnover. You've got to create opportunities for offense right now. You can't just dribble this game out. So expect New Zealand, quick play. It might be a 3 or a 2, but as soon as the ball's made, expect New Zealand to be up, apply a lot of pressure and try and cause a turnover from Tasmania.
Well, this is the last time out for the Breakers. Disregard if we see anything else shown on screen. Breakers are done with their timeouts and Tasmania down to 2. Expect them, as you said, to go real quick and whatever they can try and get. It's all about speed right now. You want a good look. You don't want to force anything. There's no need to just come down and let it fly. Still plenty of time in this game. Minute 21 in the postseason is an eternity.
So Tassie come into the second game of a playoff series, down 0-1 for the second year in a row, playing to keep their season alive. The Breakers trying to make it back to the finals after a prolonged absence. McDowell can't hit from straight away. Kenyon with an important rebound.
It's going to send Matt Kenyon to the free throw line. And you see New Zealand, they called the timeout to run a play, and they got nothing out of it. So Doyle Brantley, he's having a few words to Isaiah Liapa. They got absolutely nothing out of that half-court set, and in the end, Will McDowell had to launch a 3-ball. And I like this from Barry Brown Jr., just going over and saying there's no need for that. If anything, it's not just going to be that one possession that lost them the game. If they can't get back from this, they've got a game 3 they've got to look forward to.
You don't want it all to fall apart now. And you're so close. Kenyon gets the first to go. 10-point lead to the JackJumpers. They've outscored the Breakers 31-15 since late on in that third period when they trailed by 5. Brantley is called for the offensive foul, and there's the energy from Jack McVeigh.
Well, it wasn't a double python, but it was the show me the money. You got Wags the dog tail going on there as well. Jack McVeigh, look at him. Loves it.
That's going to be a gif in about 5 seconds.
That might be on the podcast this week. Shooters podcast. Shout out Jack McVeigh. Mr. Darren.
Shout out
Daz.
stuff. But that's just a really good read. Doyle Brantley coming full head of steam. Put your body on the line.
So Tassie have got to withstand a minute here to force a game 3.
They're going to get a chance here, the Breakers. That's off Milton Doyle.
It's a little bit sloppy from the Jackies.
17 turnovers for Tasmania. No timeouts for New Zealand, as we mentioned. Let's see if they can get into the set that they tried to draw up last time. Quite a similar inbound position.
What we spoke about right at the start of the broadcast, Pete. New Zealand have played in this arena 11 times. They are 1-10. Tonight, their 12th game.
Roddy Mayor was very vocal, saying that he doesn't like it. Just doesn't like anything about the feel of it. And why would you, really, after what they went through with 2 years playing their home games away from home in another team's venue in front of no fans? There's no doubt there'd be a few little scars there.
Their only win coming against Illawarra in that 21-22 season.
And Doyle Brantley was absolutely begging for a technical foul there. That went on a lot longer than I think a lot of us thought it would.
That's just pure frustration from the Breakers star, and he's going to get yanked from the game.
Well, he is. He's just got to keep his composure. Understand the frustration. Potentially let this one slip. There's a big game 3 coming. Have another look here. Just talking to the referee. You can count. Put a stopwatch on. It continues here. Just continues to go. And there was probably another 15 to 20 seconds of words said after that.
Roddy Mayor goes to have some words with Jarrell Brantley. So 12-point lead now to the JackJumpers. 3 missed by Abercrombie, who's still scoreless this evening. 5 of 25 from downtown, the Breakers. After they beat Tassie by 20 on their home floor, the trip to Tasmania is going to come up fruitless. And Rashard Kelly's played a big role here in this second half.
Well, we have seen this story before.
The JackJumpers love their backs to the wall situation. Liafa cans a 3. Back to 11.
It's an unbelievable turnaround. It looks like two completely different Tasmanian teams from what we saw in Game 1 compared to Game 2 tonight. They're going to go into Game 3 feeling very good about themselves. And history repeat itself with a different ending for Tasmania. Once it's all said and done.
Made their way all the way to the Championship Series last year. Milton Doyle's pretty happy to see the 24 expire. And after a 20-point loss on Sunday, in front of a sold-out My Stank Bait Arena, the JackJumpers keep their season alive. They stave off elimination. They came to play when they needed it most. And lifted by another enormous Tasmanian crowd. It's the JackJumpers who take Game 2 and tie this series at 1 apiece. And they'll play again in New Zealand on Sunday.
Big reserve celebration from Scott Roth, understandably. Job's not finished. But that was a special performance from Tasmania. They needed offense. We highlighted off the top, they've struggled to score the ball. They put up nearly 90 on New Zealand and live to see another day.
And you're right, Peter, came from a few different avenues as well. Clint Steindl in that second half stood up, made some big shots. Threes on the line. When his number was called, he was ready. Jarrett Weeks, 5 points. Rashard Kelly stepped up late as well with 8. Just an all-round really good performance from Tasmania. They'll take a lot of confidence right now. They had the fresh legs. They looked ready to go for another 3 or 4 quarters after this game finished. And as you said, New Zealand looked out on their feet a little bit at that last 5 minutes. It's going to be an interesting trip back to New Zealand now.
Just suits their persona so well, that do or die, now or never attitude, the JackJumpers. They're scrappy, they're tough, they've got all the resolve in the world, and they showed it tonight to win by 11. Let's go courtside to Nerily Meadows, who's with the star of the show, Milton Doyle.
24 points for Milton Doyle. Can you speak to this crowd, this team, because your season, the dream is still alive?
Yeah, they bring all the energy for us. You hear it now, you can barely hear me talking, so with this enthusiasm, I think they can take us a long way.
The 11-point-0 run at the end of the third and start of the fourth, what did you address to make that happen?
Just coming out strong. Last game, we came out flat against them in the second half, so the first 3 minutes of the next half was good for us.
You personally, you seem to be able to sum up those big moments really well. What does it take to do that?
Just trying to lock in, and the belief from these guys to have me take those shots and make those plays helps me out.
And I've got to ask you, how's the nose? Because the coach found the look a little funny.
Oh, it's good now. It's good.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Milton Doyle was absolutely outstanding. And there's the sign. It's time to defend the island. Defend the island they did. And now they'll go to the other island across the ditch and try and close things out and get to another championship series. JackJumpers with a massive win at home. They keep their season alive. More post-game reaction coming up next. Don't go anywhere. huge performance from the Tasmania JackJumpers when they needed it most, and a huge performance from this man, Milton Doyle, the footlocker player of the game. He was enormous tonight, Mitch Creek and Pete Pooley.
He was massive, and they needed someone to set the tone offensively, especially early, and he looked like he had a different aggression about him. It was more measured, it was balanced, and once he starts feeling good about himself, he starts to make big shots. I mean, 23 points, 8 of 17 from the field, had 5 assists, 3 steals, sorry. He was just absolutely everything for Tasmania, and we know they do everything by committee. They are like that. They are a team that likes to share the ball. They have share the equal load, but they always need their one man to step up and carry that heavy load. That's always going to be Milton Doyle so far this season, or Jack McVeigh we saw a sprinkle of. They can't just do it as an equal load. They still need their figurehead, and Milton Doyle was huge.
He was absolutely massive tonight, really put them on the shoulders when they needed it most, and you do need someone who can go that extra mile and make a play where they needed it. He's got a little buddy in the cool down as well, helping him to stretch, which is great to see. Let's take a look at our Hungry Jacks highlights of the game. And, well, it was turn for turn early, 42 apiece at half-time, but it was the third period and late in the game, Mitch, where the JackJumpers really took control.
Yeah, it was, and we talked about the struggles for both teams almost in that first half, and it was the unlikely culprits kind of stepped up for a little bit. Rashard Kelly stepped up for a little bit, making plays in tough moments. But then you had Isaac White come in. You had Clint Steinel come in, who didn't play last game. And then it takes the pressure off Milton Doyle. And all of a sudden, he comes in, makes some huge plays as the game goes on, takes control, and urges Tassie to a game 3.
So that game 3 will be on Sunday in Auckland. Jack McVeigh showing all his energy, as were the Tassie bench. Looking forward to Game 3 of this series on Sunday, of course. There's more action coming your way tomorrow night. Game 2 between Sydney and Cairns is going to be a ripper.
The Sydney Kings were staring down the barrel of a Game 1 upset. Reminded everyone why they are the benchmark. Couldn't be better placed to defend their title. Here's Hogue again. Cairns will get another opportunity to square the ledger.
Can come down to a single basket.
Cooks. Oh my! Big play at a big moment.
Ooh, hold on a sec. Job's not quite done yet.
It is all on the line for a spot in the NBL Championship Series.
Going to be huge tomorrow night. Sydney and Cairns coming your way from 7:30 Eastern. Sunday, 4 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time, New Zealand and Tasmania. That's going to be enormous, gents.
It's going to be a grind, that one. You thought tonight was a grind to start with. Expect even more of a grind on Sunday.
It's going to be physical. It's going to be real intensity. Both teams will know exactly what is in front of them for that game. Great to have your company, Mitch Creek. Thanks, Pete Hooley. Thanks to Nerily, Courtside, and all of our hard-working crew. The JackJumpers tonight deliver at home, and they keep their season alive. 11-point winners to force a Game 3 on Sunday as the NBL playoffs roll on.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.